Hey guys, do you like my filter? All right, I'm here to talk about love, and I've got a different backdrop today. Actually had a few complaints about the last one because it was a bit too much, so I've gone for a plain backdrop today, but I've got the light shining and my little thing here, whatever that's called. Hey Lauren, how you doing? So what I want to talk to you about today, and welcome Facebook family and YouTube family, what I want to talk to you about is love, and we're in love month. It's February, it's classed as love month because of Valentine's Day. And, you know, surprisingly, and I say surprisingly because it's not always the case, you know, most of the energy this month is around love and relationships. So it fits in really well that we should be growing a little bit in this area. So what I want to talk to you about today is taking your power back with this, though, because if you are single and looking, there could be two categories, maybe more. We're just going to talk about two today that you could be in, and I really want to help you feel more empowered moving forward with this, especially if you do want a partner to come in. So this is really about how to take your power back when it comes to love. Now, it's interesting as a psychic reader, and also I'm also connected with a lot of the other psychic readers on social media, and I look at all the questions that come through from people who are watching, and when I go and do readings live, I get some of the same questions, and I used to ask these questions too. And it's, when is my soulmate coming? When is the guy coming? When is the girl coming? When will I be with the one I love? When, I've been single for so long, when's it going to happen for me? All that kind of stuff. Hey, Susie. So I just want to talk about that today, because those questions in that kind of format are really, you're allowing, and I was doing it too, allowing outside circumstances to dictate your life. But it's actually the other way around. It's what goes on inside of you that actually dictates reality. So I want to try and shift that a little bit for you today. If you are looking for love, if you are looking for that partner to come along, if you are wanting to start a relationship, if you've been single for a while and you're ready, or you say you're ready, I want to help you bring that power. Hey, Susie. I want to help you bring that power back to yourself, because that's ultimately where it is. It's not in the outside. It's not in the external. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to bring your power back so that you can ask different questions. Okay, I just need to turn my aircon on. Give me 2 secs. I'm getting that little sweaty glow. Just a second. Luckily, it's just here. Okay. Hopefully you can still hear me. Hey, Shannon. Actually, I'll just turn it down a bit. All right, that might be better. All right. So, as I said, the typical questions that I see going towards psychics, but I also get, my clients asking the same thing, is, when will my soulmate arrive? When will I find my partner? When will I find true love? And, the answer really can be simple, but mostly it's not. So here are the two different energies of people that I want to talk about today. For somebody asking that question, and sometimes I do get, a lot, I do get clients asking me that question. And for some of those clients, I can immediately tune in to spirit and give them a timeline and maybe a place or a circumstance where their true love and their soulmate are going to come in, right? But I have to also say here that free will is also involved here. And even though I may be picking something up on that particular day at that particular time, the person I'm reading for also has free will to do as they are inspired or feel to do, and you know, that could change things too. So just a little caveat there, free will is always at play. However, for the people whose energies are really aligned into receiving that new partner into their life, the answer is quite simple. Now, there's also the other side of that, where I get asked that question and the answer's not that simple, because the person that I'm working with doesn't have a receiving energy for that new partner. So that's the first thing that we need to work on, and that's not always what people want to do. And you know, doing the inner work, it's the hardest. I mean, that's the work in this lifetime. That's the work. The work doesn't even come from outside of us, right? The work's in here, and not everyone wants to do it. But here's the thing: if you don't do that inner work, you will keep attracting the same, whether that's relationship, financial status, work, reality. If you don't shift what's in here and you want the reality to change, you're kind of barking up the wrong tree, right? It will just create frustration. So when it comes to being single and looking for that partner, are you open to it? They're the questions you need to ask. So, you know, is your energy blocking that new person coming in, whether you know it or not? Now, I've been asking those questions for myself. I've been single for quite a few years now. And, you know, in this last 12 months, I have been ready to move forward, right? But no one's showing up. So rather than me kind of getting into that, why aren't they showing up kind of questions, I'm asking myself, what am I doing to block it, right? And lots of things have come up over the last 12 months. And I'm going to go through a few of them today because it might be relevant for you as well. But they're the better questions. They're the more empowered questions, rather than where and why is it taking so long, right? The questions are, what can I do right now to receive, and what am I doing to block it? So let's talk a little bit about that today. So how might you be blocking those new relationships? It could be old beliefs that you've got, old fears, outdated perceptions that just are not serving you or anyone else anymore. And I know over the last few months, quite a lot of us, I think we're all being called to do it, but not everyone will do it. We're being called to let go of all that and really step into our authentic self. Now, one of the other reasons that you may be blocking is because of insecurities about your body. Now, both of these, I'll give you some examples of all of these. So the first one, old fears, patterns and beliefs. I'll give you an example of mine, and for any of you who follow me, you may have heard me on one of my lives saying this. So there was a time last year when I really had an aha moment. I'm like, okay, why am I blocking a new person coming in? And you know what came up? I was really worried about living with someone again, right? Until one of my wise friends said, hello, you haven't even started dating. So, sometimes these old fears, because the fear of that for me was that it hasn't worked out before, right? When I'm living with someone. So that fear was coming up, but it's an old, outdated fear. So what is it for you? What is those old fears that are coming up for you? And the next one is insecurities about your body. Now, I'm 54, turning 55 this year. My body's not the body of a 20-year-old, and I have some insecurities about my body. I've recently cleared those insecurities, but I know what it feels like to be in them. So is this one of the fears that is stopping you from allowing someone in? Right? You say you're ready, but do you also have those fears about your body? Old emotional wounds and fears. Now these are a big one too. And even before you've met the person, are you going through in your head saying, what if this happens again? What if I open my heart and I get hurt again? What if, right? That's an energetic block, whether you think it is or not. So really have a look at that as well. And that was happening with me as well, and it still goes through my head, but I managed to catch it now. And the fourth one is future projection that is not real. Now I was doing that with the, oh my God, how am I going to live with someone again? Right? Have a great day, Susie. I was doing that with, that was blocking. My fear of it not working out, living with someone, was blocking someone even coming in and asking me on a date, right? So, we really need to have a look at where we are blocking. And whether you think you are or not, if you're ready for someone to come in and they're not there yet, you are blocking, right? And I understand that about myself now, so I'm asking better questions of myself now, because I get very few men even showing up. I don't get out enough, I don't think. But I understand that now, and rather than asking the questions now, if they come up, why am I not meeting anyone? I've got to ask myself, why do I not want to meet someone? Why am I not putting myself in the position to meet other people? Why am I still blocking it? So that I can still sort out those little energy blocks that I still have as well. So once again, I ask you, what is it for you? And so to start receiving, there's a few things here that might just help, and a couple of tools that I really show all my clients, because it really makes a difference. Now the first one is feeling statements. These are so powerful, and anyone who's worked with me can tell you this is really big, right? It works, and it's powerful, and it's something that not a lot of us do, because we're interested more in the goal, in the external, in the how will it look kind of result, right? Not how will it feel. Well, you can attract everything on your list, right, of the external, but it doesn't mean that person's going to make you feel good. So a feeling statement is really important, and no matter what area of life it is, whether it's your love life, whether it's your financials, whether it's your home life, partnership, whatever it is for you, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? And I go into this quite in depth with my clients, but you could start just by writing down, how do you want to feel in a relationship? Not how do you want someone else to make you feel? How do you want to feel? Because that's what you're putting your order into the universe for. Okay, so really start with that. The next thing is to stop future projecting. And I've got to pull myself up on that all the time too. And we do this in all areas of life, right? Not just love and relationships. We do it in all sorts of areas of business and work. We future project, and then we come up with all these fears that just aren't real. So stop future projecting, and if you find yourself doing that, just bring yourself back and go, right now, is that really true? That will really make a big difference. And that is in line with the next point, which is in the moment awareness. If you really can be in the moment, when you find yourself going down that rabbit hole of old memories, old emotions, old thoughts, future fears, bring yourself back to center and go, right, I'm just going to breathe. Okay, what is true for me right now? What is true for me right now? That will really help. Now, you also need to be open to inspired guidance. When you, and this is the next point, saying yes to it, right? So when you say yes, say, you know what, universe, yes, I'm ready, bring it on. You're going to get signs, you're going to get inspired thoughts, you're going to get inspired ideas. You need to say yes to those as well, because you just never know how the universe is lining this up for you. So when you finally, are in the moment, you've put all the blocks aside, you've got your energy in order, you're ready to receive, you say yes, and then you'll get an inspired message to go to a particular shop or to the movies or whatever. And you go, oh no, I don't feel like doing that. Immediately you're blocking it. Because doing that inspired thing or having, that inspired idea that you get could lead you to meet the person, could lead you to meet someone who will then introduce you to the person. It could introduce you to a new group, a new hobby, a new something that where you're in the right environment to meet this person, right? You have to take the action as well. And if you're in that sense of blocking, and if you're in that feeling of, I want the external to change so that I can get what I want, you're going to be looking at all those things and going, no, I don't want to do that. But you can't sit there and not receive these ideas and not act on them and kind of expect things to show up, right? It's the same in any area of life. So, I ask again, are you really, if you're single and you're looking, are you ready to receive that person into your life? If not, or if you say yes, then start asking different questions. Don't keep on asking. You've got to bring your power back here. You've got to take your power back. Hey Kim, hi Frank. Hey Julie, you've got to take your power back. You have to ask different questions. Don't ask why they haven't shown up, right? Ask yourself, what can I shift to receive? Because that's where it all starts from in here. Now, the readings that I'm doing at the moment is a really good example of how I work differently with people depending on their energy. As I said, some people will come to me for a love reading, and Julie, they will come to me for a reading about their love life, about relationships, and if they're ready to receive and there's no blocks, I can give them answers, right? Once again, free will. A little caveat there, free will is always at play. But if somebody comes to me for a reading about their love life and about relationships, and I can see that there's big blocks in their energy there, I do a reading on that first so that I can help them move past those blocks. It's something that comes really easily to me. I don't know how, I can't explain it, but I can just sense the blocks and I know where they're coming from and I can find solutions. So that's what I do first, right? And then when I've given the person a way forward, then we can do a relationship reading. And that's just how I work. I don't like to give false promises or not give the advice that's coming to me when someone comes to me. So, you know, if someone comes to me for reading and just says, when's my soulmate showing up? You know, quite often they don't like me going into the inner work that they may need to do. That's just how it is, right? That's just what I do and how I work. And if they're not receiving that, they're not going to certainly receive a new lover. And that's really what it's all about. It's about the internal, and for you to start taking your power back in anything that you want in life. But in this February and Love Month, it's about taking your power back when it comes to allowing that person to come in to your life and not relying on the external world to make you feel whole and happy and loved. You need to do that first. And if you feel that you've done that inner work and you've done all of that other stuff, and the person still hasn't arrived, then ask yourself different questions. How might I be blocking this? Why am I not open? You know, it has to come back to self. Why am I not open for this relationship? Shannon, when did I first start reading? Oh, thank you, Shannon. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely, Shannon. It's interesting, isn't it? Because 28 years in the nail industry, I've always been reading. Always. Right? I just never used cards, and I don't really need to use cards now, but I do because they're fun and they're a nice visual. But all those years in the nail industry, I was reading one-on-one across the table with people, thousands of people, immediately coming up with solutions. It started when I was 17. I didn't understand it, right? I had solutions for people my age, back then at 17, like I was really old, right? I had solutions for people my age at 17 about life stuff that I had no idea about. So I've always been doing it. And it's just something I love doing. And as I said, I now use the cards and I use other tools to do that, because they're fun and, you know, people like a bit of a visual. But now I'm clear on what I actually do. It's easier for me to work a little bit more deeply. Oh, Shannon, yeah, absolutely. You'll be doing the same. Now, having said that, not all nail people or hairdressers or beauty people do it. Okay, because I used to coach salons and not all of them will do it. And sometimes that makes the difference between busy salons and not busy salons. Not the fact that you're a psychic or you're doing any of that work, but the fact that you're giving people an experience and they feel better when they leave. That's what builds the business. And you might be doing it through the same intuitive kind of energy that I was doing it, but there are other people who aren't intuitive but still give their clients a really great experience. So just to be clear, yeah, Shannon, absolutely. Yeah, you're a healer. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you, Lauren. So so look, if you would like to have a yeah, absolutely, psychologist, free sessions. That's right, Shannon. So if you would like to come and have a reading with me about relationships and what can you do to invite that person in, then I may have some solutions for you, and the solution will be inside you, and I'll just be able to bring it out for you so that you're in full receiving mode to really get started with that new relationship, if that's what you are yearning for. And this is absolutely the path I'm on as well, because I'm ready. It's time, right? So, but I'm not asking outside of myself. You have to ask inside of yourself. Am I ready? Yes. Am I really ready? Well, maybe. right? You've got to ask these questions. Okay, well, what do you think's holding me back? Do I have an issue with my body? Am I insecure about something? Do I have an old belief? Do I have an old fear? Do I have an old perspective on something? Do I have a future projection that's scaring the bejesus out of me? Right? You have to ask these things, because the person you want wants you. The thing you want wants you. That's the way it is. That's how the world works. That's how energy works. And the only reason it's not there right now is because you've got a block and you're not receiving. So I hope this all makes sense to you, and that it has helped in some way to give you some clarity on moving forward in relationships. And you know, this could be the same even with existing relationships. If it's not feeling the way you want it to feel, why? Ask yourself, not outside of yourself, not the other person. Ask yourself, right? Do a feeling list about how you want to feel in your relationship. So if you do want to come and work with me, I will put the links in the description after I've finished, and certainly come and have a love reading. They're quite powerful, and you could really find a way forward. And if you're already open to the energy and open to receiving, then you will then get some inspired answers as to when, how, and maybe where. So I look forward to doing that with you and helping you in that regard. And I will come back later on. If you've got any questions, please pop them here in the comments, and I will come back later on. I'll get notified when everyone comments, and I'll try to answer them for you. Now, I am also going to go live with some free one-card readings later on this afternoon, so keep an eye out for that. And if you pop on, I'd love to give you a reading. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.